Presentations, rendering techniques. Okay, let's open up our previous file where we left off 2209 complete and save as. So we're up to 2210 again. Okay, and then we'll save as 2210 complete. Okay, so this is rendering techniques. Now, a lot of what we've done already has prepared us for rendering. So what we're going to be looking at in rendering techniques is just tweaking, really tweaking some settings here and there. So let's start with an exterior. We'll go to perhaps the addition exterior. Okay, so we want to render up this part of the building. I'm going to click on render. A few things under settings here. You've got draft, low, medium, high. Again, this is maybe review if you looked at the essentials video, but never go higher than high. Best is such a time constraint. It just takes so long to use best that you might as well just use medium or high. You can also do this thing called edit, and you can go and you can edit different ones that you've made. You could also make a custom one. So all of these settings you could change. Some of them are more important than others. Like, for instance, this one here, we've made a custom one. You probably want that one to be nice and clear. Maximum number of reflections. Now, that's one that sometimes you can get away with maybe just not too many. Maximum number of refractions. Okay, so how far will it sort of go through? How far will glass show through? And again, you could bump that up a little bit. Blurred reflections, that's actually a nice one to have up about midway. And you can even look and say, okay, what is high? Okay, so high is set to that. What is medium set to? It's honestly just sort of a tweaking type of thing that you're going to have to go through and just try tweaking these little bit by bit, and you can get the balance you want. I find that just picking, let's say medium for most stuff and then high for the better stuff, I mean, that's basically it. Okay, now the output settings, you've got screen and printer. If I go to printer, then it's going to be sort of a fixed size. So under output settings, the resolution can either be set to the screen or to the printer. Printer is probably a little bit better because you can set it to a set height and then give it a DPI rating, and it'll give you what size the image is going to be. You can do lighting scheme, so exterior sun only, and we're going to talk about the lighting scheme more in a second. We could do exterior sun and artificial in this case. Under sun settings, we're just going to click on that. And what you can do here is you can say, let's make it pretty accurate. So we'll go still. We'll go with 10 a.m. and ground plane at level, no. And under the background, let's just go with very few clouds. I want to still refine the sun settings a little bit. Let's just click on it. Let's just make it a little bit earlier. So let's make it at like 6 a.m. Maybe even 5:30. You'll see what I'm getting at with this in a second. We'll say okay, okay, all right. And let's render that. Let's click on render. Okay, so that's rendered up. Now notice it's very dark. It sort of has kind of like a sunrise or sunset look. And that's okay. You could leave it like that if you like that, but you can also click on the image adjust exposure, and I could just make it maybe a little bit brighter. And some people like this look where it makes more of a softer shadows feel. The other thing is it gives it a tiny bit of a glow inside if you have some extra lights in there. Okay, highlights. I find the midtones, the darker you make them, the more depth you have. So if I make it brighter, but I give it darker midtones, it's going to give you sort of more depth. Looks like we're on the sea there. Okay, you can also give it more of a cooler look. So that's really saying it's bluer or yellower. And you can just decide which way that goes. And again, same thing with the saturation. If you have no saturation, it's just a black and white shot. We can say okay to that. Okay, so we could just save that and we could call that addition exterior 1, sure. Okay, so let's look at the interior now. So we're going to go to kitchen proposed. And let's do another render here. So we'll click on render, go to medium, and we're going to do the same thing. So we're going to go to sun and artificial. and we're going to go in here and say still, and same idea. So we're going to put it, pretty early, no ground plane at all. Say okay to that. And sky, few clouds, sure, and we'll render that. Now I just canceled that, and I want you to see that because I just made a mistake. I didn't change the scheme. I should have changed it to interior sun and artificial. So that's important that when you're inside, you set the exposure to be interior. Okay, let's try that again. So we'll render. Okay, so this is done. I want to explain a few things about this rendering. Number one, you can see that the way the light is coming in, it's very bright. Why is that? Well, we actually have no other trees, we have no other houses or anything blocking the light from coming in. So it's as if we're on the beach. The other thing you'll notice is there's sort of some weird things happening out here on the site. That is probably due to the phase that we're in. We're also not seeing brick on here, so we should be seeing brick there. This is probably set to phase 1 show all, and we want to set that to show complete. Okay, so what we'll do is I'll leave that to you to refine it. You probably want to refine the materials, the counter. You can refine the studio lights we made. But just again, under adjust exposure, you can make it darker, you can make it brighter, you can render it at different times during the day, and you can add more things outside. Also, that little Dad's Kitchen sign that we put up there, notice what I'm saying about how the chrome material, it's good, but it's very mirror-like, so we may want to adjust that as well. Okay, so we're going to tweak this in another video. Okay, so we can just save that as our test 1. Okay, we'll save that, and then we'll carry on.